Welcome everyone to this Force Friday. If you've been around with us the last couple of weeks, you know what we've been doing is basically playing with the different benchmarks of a sort of typical figure drawing process, a model drawing process. So we've done 30-second poses, we've done 1-minute poses. Today we're doing the 2, so we're kind of doubling up. I think next week we'll probably do 5s. 5 is a very common number within figure drawing classes. And then we'll probably go from 5s to 10s and maybe 20s. We'll see, either 15s or 20s, not sure yet. So what's the point? What's the point of all of this? I think what's really important here is to recognize that you want to accomplish different things within different times, and time is a great keeper of how you work and what your focus is, what the priority is, right? So when you're working in 30 seconds, you don't have much time, right? So you have to really try to figure out what's most important. The trick here is to keep that, right? I think it's to keep that idea, that impression, that prioritization, and try and carry it through. And that's going to be tricky for us too, because we're human and it's easy to fall into, the luxury of the sort of hedonistic feel of going into the drawing and getting caught up in the details. So I sort of challenge myself, Swenley, and Mrityunjay with, can we keep the big picture stuff going, make that really the most important, and then slowly build the cake right from the bottom up to the icing, and try not to get caught up. And I know, like I said, I fall into that myself as well. So I'm gonna try to really stay on top of that today. So, over time, as obviously you get into longer and longer poses, you have the ability to do more and more, to add more and more information, to embellish more and more, right? So we'll keep track of that. I invite you again today, as always, to draw with us. I think this is a great opportunity for you to sit back and I've been finding there's sort of 2 ways that you could use these videos. One is to try and draw along. Right, it's a little tricky because you're looking at your monitor and the model, and then you're drawing and you're trying to watch us burn through the seconds. So that's one way. The other way is to just sit and watch us draw when we do it, and then you go and draw it while we talk about it, because we'll usually take a minute or 2 at least to talk about what just happened, and then you could be drawing at that time. Maybe even time yourself to the time that we're in while you're doing that and we're talking. So try them both. I would recommend highly trying them both. Last but not least, if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, right, then please hit the subscribe. And also, if you hit the bell, of course, the notification bell, then that means you will be notified, right? Instead of having to put it on your calendar somewhere to show up on Force Fridays, right? So this way, YouTube will do it for you, right, and send you a notification. So if you're liking what we're doing, then please hit the subscribe button. So let's say hello to our other instructors, right? How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, awesome. Ready to roll.
Yeah, I love when I forget to call out one of you. Then all of a sudden it's like immediate chaos, Yeah, anything new, right? So, I was telling the guys on a small side note here, just to share personally, some personal stuff. I just picked up a book called The Power of When, which is about circadian rhythms, right? So how everybody sleeps, and what are the best hours for you to be drawing, basically, right? Like when's your most keen, when are you sharpest, right? When are you sharpest? When do you have the ability to do your most work? What time do you go to sleep? What time do you wake up? And based on that, what does your day look like? So, and then this author, his name is Michael Breus. I think it's Breus, Michael Breus. He buckets these different time frames into animals, right? So like a bear is what most of society is structured around, which is that get up 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, work all day, come home, and then maybe relax, watch TV, go to bed at 11 o'clock at 11:30 at night. And then there's the wolf, right? The wolf is someone who typically likes to go to bed really late at night and then wake up late in the morning, or has a hard time, waking up. And I was talking to Swenley and Mrityunjay, I think for me, the challenge was I my sleep has generally just been around work, like whatever it has to be. You know, when you're a dad with young kids, for instance, you're getting up early because you got to take them to school. Or when I was in college, it might have been the wolf, right? Like getting, you know, working late into the night and getting up or trying to get up late. Sometimes I had to get up to commute to the school. But anyway, my point is kind of interesting. If you're into that, it's a cool book on understanding your own circadian rhythm and getting a sense of how to find out what it is and then manage it as best as possible. So like I said, if you're into trying to figure yourself out, which I always am, I just happen to be that kind of person, then interesting book. All right, so let's see how far 2 minutes can take us today, right? Let's get back to, I think Swenley, you're going to start us up today, right? So let me get you,
Yes.
let me get you some the power of Grayskull here. Let's see, make host. All right, it is all yours.
All right, let's see. Let's go to Clip Studio. Let's see. Well, it seems like I need some time to wake up.
Oh no. One of us can jump in if it's having a problem.
I think it should be getting it now. Or
there you go.
You can see my screen?
I can see it's trying to come in.
All right, there it is. All right, awesome. Who's going to time me?
Yeah, Mrityunjay, do you mind doing that and I'll run the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Let me get the clock in. All right, ready when you are.
Wait, let me just get the brush to work here.
Yeah, as soon as you start, I'll start.
All right, let's go.
All right, 2 minutes. Let's see how far we can get today, folks.
We started with a C curve for the torso, but it looks like it could be an S curve, like a little straight moment here at the back. Let me get the leg that's like supporting the weight here first. I love the amount of stretch here, the ball of the foot. This is front to front into the heel. Arm is sticking out. I'm looking at the negative shape here. Help me with the proportions. You have this arm. So even though I can see it, it's time?
No, that's 1 minute.
Oh.
It's like
kind of scared me a little bit there.
2 minutes is faster than you thought.
Let's see. This head needs to hang a bit more. Let's move this around. Which is always taking away from the minutes. Just want to get a bit of the rope here to complete the story.
All right, that's it.
All right. That's a good warm-up. Let's give it another shot. So let's see. And before I get to the next one, I want to compare my drawing to the reference and see what I can do better. Now, the first thing I see is that I can add more applied force to this corner of his upper body, like he's leaning a bit more. And same for the head, like the face needs to like fall down a bit more here. And I see the angle of this arm needs to be adjusted. Legs seem to be coming along nicely. So I take some mental notes. It even helps to like write those things down, so you have a clear goal to go for. I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush. I think that helps go faster. All right, so let's go again. So I want this angle here. I think I'm going to go for a C curve anyway. So we have compression here at the stomach. This is the hip and how the leg is fitting in. To use some force shapes here. So this leg is firmly planted on the ground plane. And we have this one here. So I'm looking at the negative space to help me with proportions and placement. And a lot of stretch here at the ball of the foot. All this force coming in the shoulder, arm is going behind his back, and his fist is emerging right here. Paying more attention to the angle of this arm. Now, and here again, I'm looking at the negative shape to help me with the proportion and the placement. I think somebody asked about that in the chat. So force coming from the back, pushing the neck out, face is hanging. I have the neck cylinder here, the head. You can get the eye line, the jaw line, get the hair wrapping around. See a little bit of the ear. Get the chest here. This is all being pulled up into the deltoid. Good.
And that's it.
All right. That's good. So I'm getting closer to matching what this guy is actually doing. If we compare it to the first drawing, like I'm getting the angles a bit more accurate. The amount of applied force in the shoulder is matching better. Let's see, what could I still change? I think
I have a challenge for you.
Sure.
I would say, let's see you get more clarity on the form of like the leg coming out, because the torso, you have it going away, but the leg that's coming out with the knee, it's hard to tell that that's happening right at this point in the 2 minutes.
You mean this one?
Yeah. So either seeing it with some wrapping or overlap, right? Like getting more clarity somehow of that coming out us at that particular angle.
All right.
Yeah.
You can certainly do that. All right, let's go.
The trick only not, for Swanley, for all of us, is force, form, shape, right? We've got 3 buckets, and those buckets are pretty deep. Admittedly, I'm kind of oversimplifying here in the idea of just 3 words, right? 3 terms. Because I say form, and when I say form, I mean there's volume and perspective, which are huge skills all on their own, and that you're trying to cover all these bases as you draw. And the more practice and experience you have, you learn how to do that very efficiently, very quickly, and those ideas become more common, more normal to you, instead of having to draw a whole, perspective grid out, for instance, to get the model to sit on this platform correctly. So you can see Swanley's already addressing a little bit more of the anatomy, for instance, over here to try and bring that in.
I'm using some landmarks, some wrapping lines to show a bit more of the form. Now I can use the turning edge here to show the bottom plane of the foot. Here we can get the rib cage. We want the applied force again in this arm, going around. Fist is popping out, got a deltoid. See a bit of the lats. So I'm indeed using a bit of simple anatomy, get things done like this. You can draw the underpants here. Force coming from the back, hitting that neck and the head.
That's it. 2 minutes.
All right. That's good. So yeah, it's going along. I think the legs are clearer.
Yeah, much better.
I find it out. Let's see. So this is the third one. Let's give it a shot to do another pose. Let's see which one would be fun to do. Actually, let me go back and do one of the first ones. I think this one is fun, a lot of form going on, so it will definitely be a fun challenge. All right, let's go. So this is hanging. Kind of have like a reverse S curve going on here. This would be the top of the pelvis, getting the V shape of the crotch here. Now I can see how the thigh fits into the pelvis. So this coming towards us. This is front to back. Again, I want this leg to firmly be planted on the ground plane to show the weight. Get the knee here to show the angle. So this knee is somewhere behind here, and this looks like front to front. Get sense of a ground plane. And quickly get a center line. So here's a socket for the neck. So this whole neck cylinder is like popping out and bending forward as just like lifting the head up. I can get the cross here and turning edge to get some form. Get some more anatomy and correct this area a little bit. And use our top as well to wrap around, show volume. I would need some overlap.
Yeah, that's it. 2 minutes.
All right.
On very superhero pose.
Yeah, so the main thing I'm looking at is balance. I'm looking at the position of her foot underneath her body, and I think she feels like she's falling over a little bit in my drawing. Like I need to move this leg just a little bit, maybe more around here, so it's more underneath the weight of her body. So that's one thing I'm going to pay more attention to in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. So this feels a lot better balance-wise. Now it feels like she has enough support under her leaning upper body. Now notice that I'm drawing through. Now let's save the model with transparent to make sure that the parts that are hidden, they connect. And I don't want to just copy that leg and then it doesn't attach properly to the pelvis. Let's move this just a little bit so this arm is going out. I have a fist here. A bit of the clavicles. Again, looking at the negative shape helps me with proportion and placement. And some wrapping. This is all stretching, chin is popping out.
That's it.
It's time?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, balance got much better here, which is important. You know, I mean, if the drawing is good, but she's falling on her face, then we have a problem. So let's see, for next round, let me see if I can push the pose a little bit. It seems like a fun one to exaggerate. So what if she's leaning even more? The position of this leg would still be important. I'm going to change the angle. And so again, I have to look at the position of the foot relative to her upper body and make sure that there is enough support. Maybe you can push the scale here, make this smaller. Like massive thighs. Can get the knee here to show like the front plane. And I want this arm to like stretch out more. To exaggerate this angle. Let's see how this works. Clavicles here and the deltoid muscle. Chest is pulling here, and we have the breasts. Want more applied force on that head, like really pushing it forward. And this would be stretching more. Maybe the hair is like dragging behind from the extra energy. And some overlaps here to show some form. Triceps like hanging from that arm cylinder.
All right, 2 minutes.
All right, awesome. So yeah, that's good. Now we could just quickly add the ground plane here. So I like the extra amount of power in the punch, you know, and how like the whole body is dragging behind it. It feels like she's about to take off for a superhero flight or something. Let's see, how many minutes do I have left?
I'd say about another 3 to 5.
Okay. Let's see if we can push this even further, make it even more crazy. Let's go. Now, so I'm going to lean her even more. Again, the position of this leg remains super important. It needs to come out far enough to support the leaning upper body. Thinking of the pelvis and make sure that this leg connects. Make this really tiny back there. Stretch this even more. See if we can get some form here on this leg. Like tuck her head in a little bit. I think it adds even more power to that punch. Get the shape of the hair in here. Let's get the clothing really quick.
And that's it.
Okay. All right, so yeah, I think this came up really well. So notice that the action gets more and more dramatic, you know, and basically the main idea is just the amount of applied force in that punch, you know, and how it's like dragging the rest of the body behind it. I think I have enough time to do one more.
Sure.
Let's see which one we'll go for. Let's go for this one. Seems like an interesting pose. All right, let's go. So he's leaning over. Again, paying close attention to the angle. This looks like it's an S-curve. Right, there's this little straight moment here at the lower back, and paying attention to the angle of the pelvis as well. Now getting a sense of the form, getting center. Let's make sure that he's balanced. So the knee is around here. It's like falling over that box. Again, he's standing on the box, so I want to include a prop because it's part of the story. So I'm looking for the relationship between the torso and the face. Now, there's like this nice and fluid rhythm connecting them. Get some anatomy, get the chest muscle here, wrap it around. Some round this into the arm. This is coming towards us. Get the knee.
And time.
All right. So here again, the main thing I see is balance. I'm looking at the position of the knee underneath this body, and it's slightly off my drawing. Like I really have to move that knee to be more around here so it doesn't fall over. So I'm going to pay more attention to that in this next sketch. All right, let's go. So start with a simple 4 shape for his upper torso. So thinking through, figuring out the structure. This is the pelvis. So let's get working on this leg right here. Make sure that I'm looking at the negative shape, and I'm noticing that it's much closer to his body in the reference. pretty nice rhythm here in the arm and how it works as one simple arc. The deltoid of the other arm going away from us and wrap around a little bit here to show that. The wrist is coming towards us and this going up. And again, getting the fluids, the rhythm between this torso and the face. So I want this to work.
Seems like you use the pectoralis a lot to show us form of torso, right?
Yeah.
Where that corner is, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can wrap it around.
That's it.
All right.
Cool.
Let's see. So I think it's time for who's second, Mrityunjay, or you, Mike?
That's me. I'm up at bat.
All right, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Okay.
Stop share.
Share Photoshop. All right, there we go. All right, guys. So let's see what we can make happen, right? We've got 2 minutes. One of you guys time me, please. Let's see. Let's get this all set up. Make this as big as I can. All right, so what I'm going to try not to do, which is the habit, is to fall into the trap of using the time casually. All right, it's like you got 2 minutes and all of a sudden, you know, you use up the 2 minutes and you drew almost the same amount that you did when you had 30 seconds, right? So that's what we don't want to have happen. So I'm just going to try to keep pace and see how much I could shove into the 2 minutes instead. All right. All right, can you guys time?
Okay.
All right, ready, set, go. Not going to worry about being neat here. I'm going to not worry, but I'm going to focus on thinking big and fast, right? So we're going to move this up. So I got the big picture down, right? I'm adding in the icing very quickly here, like anatomy, shape. I'm starting to slowly like tighten up, because I've got my big thought down. And we'll see how I do, and if I need to improve things, we'll do so, right? Like Swenley did in his. All right, it's still a little time left. Let's see if we can get a face in here.
That's 2 minutes.
All right, so I just forgot. I just realized I'm like, hey, what happened to this guy? Right, I was so involved on that whole left side and how the model is sweeping over to the left that I missed that. I got to watch this too. It's not actually that far off. It feels long to me, like that arm being way out there. And I'm just looking at this compared to this. There were some questions about measurement in the chat, and I was talking about X and Y. So what I mean by that is, you know, Y is vertical and X is horizontal. It's like, well, if I went so far out, how far out do I have to go? and then how far up do I have to go, which in essence creates a triangle, right? This diagonal, right, which creates this triangle. I'm trying to look at that, and it's actually not too far off. It might just be a little high, but it's pretty darn close. You know, if I look straight up from the knee, like where do I hit? I'm over here. So maybe the elbow and the arm could be a little bit better differentiated there, that angle. Definitely get the other arm in there. Yeah, and this feels like I can punch in just a little bit. The shape here, I'm looking at the negative here, right? So that's not too far off. The leg feels a little short. I got to get that ankle, you know, underneath this knee basically, right? So I'm looking on X, I'm just going across and taking a look. All right, so, all right, let's get set up for, actually what I could do is just delete that, select all, delete. Undo that, get back to the brush, get this out of my way here. All right, ready, set, go. So torso first, I'm making this a C. I'm staying very simple with this. Let's get this strong leg. Make sure this is right. This should be longer. So there's measuring happening, but man, quickly, right? I'm just trying to check out those positives and negatives, like the bottom of the arm compared to the top of the leg, right? Let's get that other arm in here this time. For shame. Forgotten it last time. Let's get that guy there. Keep looking at all this anatomy. I just love this. I love his lats coming down here and disappearing into his ribs. All right, let's see if we can get some face in here. I keep looking. I love his strong brow. Right now that cuts into his nose. Very clear, structured head. I look at the shape of the hair. Cheekbone. Neck's in there. See if we can finish off the shape of the leg here.
All right, it's time.
Okay. So, you know, first time ever I'm getting a face in there, right? So this time I push into face, I could push more into the hands. This one, the hands don't have too much going on. They're pretty closed off. So it's not that big of an issue. So I put my time into the face instead, you know, and the feet are kind of oversimplistic as well, but 2 minutes, we have a whole body, right? It's a whole body in here in 2 minute drawing, and anatomy, right? So there's anatomy in here, full figure drawing, fully shaped, and a face, right? Let's see, this time, I think what I'm gonna try and do, I'm gonna skew my thinking here a little bit. What I've been doing is drawing really fast and loose, like super fast, super loose, right? It's like a race car with rear wheel drive in the snow, right? Just like super fast, super loose. My lines aren't extremely accurate. I'm almost like sketching, but sketching with force, right? So I'm not as neat, let's say, as Swinley was before. He's really using the force line and like tagging the whole shape down and all. I'm going much more haywire than that. So I'm going to try to bring that down a little bit, go for the shape, tie it down a little bit more to the line and see what happens, okay? So let's see how that does here. Let's get us back. Okay, can you guys see my Photoshop again?
Yep.
Okay, let's do that. So, all right, I'm gonna be cleaner and clearer here. All right, ready, set, go. What I'm gonna do is more of the thinking on the brain and less on the paper. less frenetic in a sense. I'm going to try the front to front this time. See if that holds him up a little better. Feels stronger, actually. It's tricky to stay calm under stress. Calm under the pressure of time. Just try to think clearly and get it done, you know. There's belly buttons in here. Should be here more. I'm looking at the negative, that's what's helping me there. Hopefully what you see here is like, damn, you just change the way you think, right? How you progress, and that changes the look of the drawing pretty dramatically, right? This drawing looks very different than my other ones. I was a lot slower, so we'll see if I actually have the same amount of time here on my hands or not. Let's try to get the face in there. I didn't get the arm in there.
Get the other arm as well.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, let's get this. So we
time's up.
Yeah, so there. So you can see less frenetic. Now let's shrink this down a little bit. Neater, you know, clearer, definitely clearer. More information. For me, what was going on is I had to get more information into every line because I was doing less work on the page. So more had to go into each mark, each thought, right? Let's try that again. That was kind of fun. Let's try that once more. All right, Command D. All right, let's do it again. Ready, set, go. I'm gonna really push into that. It's harder, I have to tell you. This is harder in a way because I'm not getting the big picture down as fast as before. So there's a little bit more like accuracy that has to happen right away, right? Like every mark's got to be right more quickly, a little more stressy, I guess, in that way. Something feels really good about what I've drawn so far. When I just got to the end of that foot, I felt like, that feels really heavy to me. There's something in there that I caught that I don't think I got before. That feels good. It feels like there's weight here, and this is really pushing. Line weight matters, you know, that I keep putting all this weight on the rear end there and on this leg because I can feel the strain of it. So I'm trying to get that strain in there. This feels lighter and more elegant to me. So all of a sudden my line has changed. This is the hard knuckle back there. Get the forgotten arm. Very interesting silhouette to it. Let's give it some form. the way I get his head down is I look at where it lands. I keep knowing that I have to get that chin like right over that shoulder, and I'm trying to look at the negative space to the back.
I'm the free.
Time?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see, here it is, right? So I went all the way from here to that like really loose drawing, right? With this one being tighter. Now that I look at it, it feels like I liked what was going on here, but I lost, this got too far. You see, I was gonna say, it doesn't feel like his leg is being hiked up high enough, right? This needs to be shortened down and squeezed. I lost the squeeze. Let's do this one more. I'm gonna go back to the way I was doing it before, like fast and loose, and see if I can get that crunch down there, and then we'll move on to another photo, or time-wise, we'll see if it's up for Matunjay. Let's see. Select all, delete. All right, ready, set, go. So fast and crazy now, right? Let's get the big picture going. I like the front of the leg, the front of the shin there, so I'm going to keep that. Almost like a blind drawing. I mean, except I'm getting things to land, but I'm just trying to swoop around and get like the big idea down there. And now I feel like, okay, let me start tying up, getting in more of the form of things. Really want that leg coming up. Trying to pay attention a little bit more to form here. Like I was saying to Swinley, just get something in there. Okay, his hands. Remember, the main thing of importance is big picture, right? Get the big picture down.
All right, time.
All right, so there it is. How are we doing on time? How much time is left?
Say about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to you so you have time to draw. So I hope that was kind of interesting to go through the changes there, right? I went from like super fast, sloppy sports car, you know, to more refined driving and taking my time. And you know, what happened there, and then coming back to the loose. Looking at the last one, I think what I had was a little bit of loose, but not as much as before, with a little bit more control of the information when I slowed down, right? So, and no, neither one is more right or wrong, by the way. The main thing that we'd like to see is to make sure you guys understand the full body as much as you can, as fast as you can, right? That you have this big picture thinking going on. So, all right, so let's hand over some power to Matunjay. Let's see. I think it's this one, right? Co-host. Let's do it on both. All right, it's all yours.
Right. All right, who's timing me?
You mind doing that, Swinley, and I'll take chat?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the first one that we're gonna be drawing today. And yeah, let's have some chill time. So we're gonna be having 2 minutes for each. All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So see what this pose is doing. Okay. He's bending, right? He's bending like that. Let's see. So there's some squashing like going on in there. Maybe like that. It's been pressing hard on this one here. Resizing a bit. So what's happening? I see this leg, right? I'm just gonna be going out and in. Again, this idea is to get that big picture going on like that. This leg, I would say this is in front to front, okay? And really like get this energy of this leg going like down there, okay? Like really hard. Pushing right there. What's happening with the arm? It's like pretty much foreshortened, so I would watch this, okay? It's something about like there. Let me get the big picture first, and then we'll see like if we had more time to add details. This hand is pretty good, right? Look at the gesture in there. I can get some thumb and arm in there, like that. And let's get the face done there. All right, so we have the big picture. Now we can go over the details. I can go with the lats. Some form in there. Okay, this is coming as well. I actually don't want to add details into this leg, by the way. I just like it that way. Maybe add the feet in here. It's not necessary to actually draw the whole thing, you know, every time. Whoops, that's accidental. Let's see, I can get this in. That's a thumb right there. It's like radiating out like this. Like that. Oh, I still have time.
Time's up.
There we go. So yeah.
Stop that, man.
There we go. No, I intentionally didn't add like structure to this leg, you know, because I just like it that way. I just feel like it's like more springy, and the first marks that always that you make are the most energetic ones. So it's I mean, you can do that, right? I still have time to do that, but it's fine, you know, sometimes. All right. So what I'll try to do in we'll try to keep on switching the photos, you know, because we have some less time in here. All right. Let's get this one going. Ready?
Yeah.
On count three. Three. All right. So what's going on? There's a very good twist. You know, the reason why I like this reference is because of this. You know, look at the scapula, like how like the forces are hitting in there, and there's this like awesome twist right in there. Da 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 da. Just chilling, chilling, chilling. There. Make sure I'm getting like this push in here, getting some form in there. All right. So what else happening? I get some form of this. I get the butts in there. Look at this leg, what's happening? You know, it's like going deep down to space in there and then coming out like this. This one's coming towards us. So I'm just gonna go that. Out and out on both the legs, by the way. I can make it a little bit more darker in there. Get some heel. Okay, get some heel in there like that. Get the feet. Okay, what's happening with this arm? It says foreshorten, okay. I'm still keeping to this idea, like if I draw the line right there. The other arm, it's like this, simply like that. Try to get the head done as quickly as I can. Right there. Let's see. So there's this twist going on right there. The hands are pretty boring.
I want to call out that you just fixed the neck, which was what I was waiting for. You got that curve in the front, and that finally connected it to the back, which looks good.
Yeah, yeah, I was like creating this kind of shape, there. So
Yeah.
Time's
Yeah,
up.
no, that's good.
All right, there we go.
Nice drawing.
Oh, thank you. Let's keep moving on. This one. All right, what he's doing, right? He's bending forward. So try to get the bend first. Always see I'm doing a drum. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now let's go. Get this bend, okay? Get this bend first. All the force hitting there. See, all the force hitting right there and into this shoulder in there. Okay. Getting the spine done. This pose, by the way, it's like very like C pose, but the thing is, it also comes with an S, I guess, because as you can see, like the creases, going around in there like that. I would consider that to have this twist going on right there. All right, so I got some form right there. It's something like this. Now let's get the leg and everything going on. So with this leg, it's again pretty much it, like one line, just that one line creates this rhythm, Then this leg, yeah, we can do that leg. Let's see, I just want to get the arms and the hands because that is what I think is really the hero, of this pose. Right there, this arm right there. This one, get the scapula and this twist like going on in there. For me, actually, it's not the goal, for every time, it's not the goal to make like the full figure. I also wanna, I see the human body as a composition, and you just wanna create like a focal point, like it's like creating a story, more story. Like where do you want the people to focus on? So that's why I'm just like not focusing too hard on the legs and everything. I just want to get this like gesture out.
Time's up.
All right, there we go. Yeah, so if I would have a little bit more time, I would just say I would just add this hand in there as well. Okay. And how we are doing on time, by the way.
I'd say you can do one more drawing.
All right. So let's see. So I'll try to do that, one more time. Because I'll want to get this like gesture of the hands, it's pretty cool. All right, ready? Go. So again, starting with this big idea, right? Hit. I think I missed the angle a little bit in the last pose as well, but I'll try to get it done this time. All right, so it's got this S moment in here, right? I'll try to darken that up. All the force is hitting into this shoulder. Try to get that. It's more like, it's almost like snake-like, those like rhythms. But then you can add like solidity to it, which is the magic, I would say. All right. The scapula, look at the scapula, like how it's like poking out from that. I would add some simple shapes to get it done. Let's add the leg very, very quickly. Again, I'm not gonna focus too much hard on that. There's some form in the legs, by the way. Right there. Get this heel done right there. All right, try to again work on the hands. Hope time's not up too quickly. See that hand? Like this thumb a lot. This hand. Very cool gesture, right? See right there, that's something that I want to get. All right, get the full shape done. I got this shape of the hair and got the bun. All right, I think that's pretty much it.
Time's up.
All right, so see, yeah, that's that drawing I'm pretty happy about. I just hit this a little bit more here. And maybe I'm creating some asymmetry, by doing this and this. I'll try to like just try to break it, when you're like doing this gesture, okay? So you can do this for the scapula and this for the shoulder like that to create that asymmetry. And that's it, So I guess that's a lot of fun, by the way. All right, we'll jump onto this, stop share.
All right, guys. Some good questions out there in the chat. We want to thank you, of course, for coming today. Thank you, Mrityunjay and Swenli, for showing off your skills. Next week, today we did 2s, next week's going to be 5s, right? A lot of information going to 5 minutes, right? Today was 2 minutes, and we got into hands, faces, and feet. So it'll be really interesting to see how far and how accurate we can get in 5 minutes. And hopefully this gives you guys a sense of some benchmarks. What does a good 30-second look like? What does a good 2-minute or 5-minute look like? So once again, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you receive further updates. We will see you guys next Friday, okay? And have a great weekend and a great week. Keep drawing and watch the videos, draw with us, and keep practicing. And we'll see you next weekend, or next week, I should say. Take care. Bye-bye.
You guys, bye.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.